Welcome back to the kingdom. It's a snowy Friday afternoon in the Lower East Side. The skies are blue. The wind is chilly. And it's you and I here again. How are you? I'm doing well. I have been having a lot of health things, not a lot, just one persistent health thing that's been bothering me. And so I went to the clinic this morning and I'm feeling a bit better about things. Yesterday I was really down bad, I couldn't do anything. And then I'm fine now this morning because I got some medicine and I know that medicine works. So that's how I'm doing. Overall, I'm feeling really good. I've been kind of enlightening myself recently, and that's how I'm going to enter what I'm welcoming and exiling. Actually, I was about to say what I was doing, but I'm like, let's just do the welcome and exiles portion. So, transition. What we're welcoming this week, one is trade publications. I feel like I've welcomed this before, but I never, I kind of fell off of it for a while. And I'm starting to realize I don't want to push away things that I'm interested in to fit into some sort of box. And I'll explain a little bit, but when I was on my content creation vibe, as I still am on, I stopped reading fashion news and beauty articles about fashion, beauty, design. I love reading trade publications. I love reading outlets and I love reading articles. I want to see what people are saying. I want to see what's going on in the business of fashion and business of design. What's happening? What's the news? That's the kind of news I like to consume. And I kind of stopped reading it, not because of anything. Probably I didn't have time, but now I'm realizing I don't have to close myself off of one thing, because I was mainly reading stuff like that when I was working corporately in fashion. And I kind of, once I was oh my gosh, I hate fashion corporate. I hate corporate fashion. I don't though. I'm realizing now that I'm so interested in that stuff. And just because I ended working a job at some place doesn't mean I can't still keep reading about it and stuff. So I've been reading about it a lot more recently. I love reading Essence, Ssense, not Essence, the magazine, but Essence, the online retail store. They have some articles. I love reading Office. I love reading Glossy.com, Fast Company, Digiday, Business of Fashion, Vogue, the New York Times. I'm reading it all. Design News, I'm reading it all. And I'm kind of in my intellectual bag this week. I've been in a very intellectual mood, listening to podcasts about the ins and outs of the market and the business and all of that stuff. That's what's piquing my interest, and that's what the welcome and exile section is all about. Is what's piquing your interest now. What is in for you at the moment? So that's what's in for me. I know I did ins and outs, but that was kind of a grand scheme of things kind of thing. Now I'm just I'm vibing. I'm vibing with the corporate side of design, art, and fashion. And I like it. Another thing that I'm welcoming is salads. Surprisingly, I'm not a big salad person. I don't even think I've ever made a salad. But last Friday, I went over to a friend's. We had a little movie night. It was cute. And she made a salad. She made a okra, corn, cucumber salad. And I know it doesn't sound good with tomatoes. It was so good that I need to make it. I've been craving it ever since. And then yesterday, Lucas went out to dinner with a friend and he bought a salad. He bought like a kale, mango, avocado, quinoa salad. It was delicious. It was delicious. And so I'm into salads. Maybe, I mean, I'm thinking the second one was more of like a bowl type situation, but I'm very into salads recently. I never was a salad girl. I never leaned towards a good old salad, but they're good. Like, they're good. Don't knock them till you try them. Another thing that's in this week for me has been group workouts. I think I mentioned that I subscribed or signed up for a gym last episode. I've been trying out all the gym workouts, which is actually a video that I'm doing on YouTube. I'm recording all these workouts that I'm going to, all these group classes. There's Pilates, boxing, spin, like a cardio sculpt, a lifting, all these group workouts. So I've been going to them and I've been working out. And you guys, I am so sore. I think that's also what had me down bad yesterday was my body was exhausted because I've been going to like one every day, and it's always a different one. And yeah, I did one that really absolutely killed my arms, and even right now as I move them, like I feel like there's like a rod inside of my arm. And so yeah, so I've been working out, and it's hard, it's challenging, but I love that I'm showing myself like you can do hard things. Like you can do hard things. Go girl, go get them. And exile is I'm exiling being stuck to my old ways. And this is kind of like a really big one that could be very vague or very deep, but it's not as deep as it sounds. Basically, there's just a way that I've been, uploading or like doing my titles and thumbnails and stuff that I love, but it's not giving me the results that I want. And so I've been kind of rebranding a little bit, recalibrating, seeing what I can do differently to get different results. And for the last half of the year, I was like, absolutely not. I'm not changing anything about what I'm doing because I love it. And now I'm at a point where I'm like, okay, insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results. Like, you have to be able to do it differently if you want different results. Like, girl, come on. So, yeah, I am changing in my ways. I'm adapting. It's a skill that's good to have. So I'm adapting and I'm taking in constructive criticism and I'm seeing what works and what doesn't, and I'm now open to change. I'm now open to change. I'm like, okay, I gotta try harder on the thumbnails. I gotta try harder on the titles. Fine. Like I didn't really want to. I was very like lackadaisical about the whole thing, and now I'm kind of fine. Like I'll change it because I want to prioritize growing this year. I feel like I've just kind of been in the same spot digitally for a while, and nobody ever wants to be like in the same spot for a while. So I feel like now it's time for change, and if I want change, I have to change. It's literally in the name, change, to do things differently. So that's what I'm exiling. I'm exiling stubbornness and like being stuck in my ways, and I'm welcoming pivoting. Pivot is the word for the week. Should we have a word for the week? No, but it's the word for this week. Now that you're all caught up with my welcomes and exiles, we're going to dive into what I want to talk about today, which is a subject that is so dear to my heart. Everything I talk about is dear to my heart, but this one specifically because I resonate so much. So during the beginning of the year, or as the year has begun, I've been seeing a lot and also consuming a lot of like the ultimate glow up videos, like what to do to glow up, how to glow up, how to become the better version of yourself, how to be the best version of yourself, how to develop and change and transform, and just how to glow up. And, content like that, it comes up every December, every January, because people love fresh starts. We want to change for the new year. We want to be different for the new year. And I feel you, because I've also been watching those same videos. I've been wearing more jewelry, putting my makeup on in the morning. They're like, how to be the ultimate feminine version of yourself. And I'm like, okay, like I'll iron my clothes. I bought a little steamer. I'm like, fine, I'll steam. I'll iron, I will wash my face, I will put on some makeup, I'll put on some jewelry. I'll look put together. I'm taking in all their tips, and they'll say things like eat healthy and wake up in the morning, and not wake up in the morning, obviously you have to wake up, but wake up early in the morning, take vitamins, exercise. A lot of things that we've heard constantly that honestly should not be downplayed. Like every single one of those advice, not every single one of those videos, but all the things that I mentioned, they are really key to glowing up and becoming a better version of yourself. Like you need to wake up in the morning early. You need to go work out. You don't have to go to the gym, but you need to have some workout, some exercise. You need to journal. You need to pray. You need to, these are very, very good advice. And I've been listening. I've been taking notes. I've been following what the girlies are saying on TikTok and on YouTube. And I kind of had a moment where I sat back, I looked back at my life, like where I am right now, literally in this room. It's so surreal, and it's such like a supernatural thing when I think about it, that I'm literally sitting here in me and my husband's apartment in the Lower East Side. I'm recording this podcast, and I feel good. I'm happy. I'm excited generally for life. And I think this is the best version of myself I've ever been. Like I've definitely gone through a lot of phases. Who I am currently, I love her. I love her. I love her. She's trying. She's working hard. She's going at it, and she's confident. She feels beautiful. She's doing the thing, and I'm so proud of who I am. Can I give myself some accolades? I'm really proud of who I've become and who I am right now. And it wasn't until I saw a lot of comments from you guys and from people on maybe TikTok that were like, wow, I've been watching you since high school. Your transformation is insane. Or I've been watching you ever since you were in college, from like your college party videos and your college like guy friend videos, and you have changed so much, and it's like so beautiful to see. Lots of really nice comments from y'all, and it made me think about what the ultimate glow up is. And you know how this podcast is gonna go, because you know how we do things around here. But the ultimate glow up, the glow up that I could have never imagined, the glow up that significantly transformed my entire life. And that's what a glow up is. I literally looked up the definition of like a glow up, and it was a significant transformation, usually in like a physical appearance. But what I've been seeing is that the girls are not focused on physical appearance as much as they are internal, with like your mind, your mindset, your hobbies, your energy, the energy that you radiate. And I feel like the ultimate glow up that I went through and how I got to being the best version of myself today, even though I still have a lot of room to grow and there's so many things like I look at and I want to improve on or things like that. But I feel like right now I am the best version I've ever been. And it's not even about like marriage, but it's more about like what I overcame, how I overcame it, my mindset, my habits, my how I spend my time, who I spend my time with. All of that significantly changed. And it was only when I gave my life to God. But you saw that coming, didn't you? But I really want to talk about like that. I just want to talk about that. I want to talk about what happens to a woman when they give their lives to God. She gives her life to God, or man, woman, whatever. Give your life to God and you say, okay, I'm going to take God seriously. I'm going to take my relationship with God seriously. I'm actually going to see what this God thing is about. There's a creator on here on YouTube, and not on here, on YouTube. And I love watching her. And I feel like you can kind of see when someone's like starting to, get closer to God, because they'll mention it here and there. So she's been mentioning it, and I feel like sooner or later she's gonna go all in and she's gonna realize a lot of things, and a lot of things are gonna change. Like, I love watching that happen, because I'm like, oh, you don't even know how many things are gonna change. Like, especially when you have been doing things your own way for so long, and then you start to introduce God into your life, and you start to introduce, what does God say about this? What does God think about this? Maybe I should go to God for this decision. Let me do things in a godly way. And you start to realize like that is against everything about you. It's the biggest mind trip, because everything about you changes. Everything. And things that you didn't even think will change. And that's why I feel like that's the number one thing to give you the ultimate glow up, like the glow up that you're looking for, that better version of yourself, the higher version of yourself, the more feminine, the more beautiful, the more confident, the more hardworking. Like, literally everything you're looking for to become comes naturally when you deepen your relationship with God. Like, it's not even a question, and it's almost kind of like a cheat code, guys. It's almost a cheat code. It's like you press this one button and boom, your life significantly transforms, and then all of a sudden you're looking at who you are and you're like, this is who I had dreamt of for so long. This is the kind of person that I wanted to be for so long. And it's not about the things that you have, because this is the mistake that we make, is that we think we're going to press the God button and then boom, everything we've ever wanted in life comes to us like naturally. And no, if you think like that, you're going to be very disappointed, because it's not about what you get in life when you deepen your relationship with God, but it's about how you move through life. It's about how you respond to things and how you approach things and how you react to things and what you do and your thought patterns and your habits and your mindset. Like, it's really an internal thing, because we are spiritual beings. So it's a spirit thing. And I'm gonna go through like every single thing that changed in my life when I gave my life to God. And it's going to shock you, because it's not none of these things are things that like I deliberately was like, okay, I need to work on this. Because I think in the world, there's so many self-help books and self-help podcasts and like femininity coaches on YouTube and motivational speakers. There's so many things, and a lot of them, not a lot, but some of them are good. Because I wouldn't say a lot of them, but I realized there's like this whole like dark femininity side of YouTube that I cannot stand. But most of them have good advice, most of them have good advice. And so you're taking this in, and it kind of makes it like your burden, to change these things. Like, oh, I don't like maybe the way that I speak. So then you go and work on that. I don't like my dressing. You go and you work on that. I don't like my friends or the people that I'm around. They're bringing me down. They're speaking negativity. So then you go and looking like how to cut away toxic people. Like, every little thing in your life becomes your burden to change. And then you go and work on that. You look for resources, or maybe you don't even look for resources. You just think about it, and you think that nothing about your life is going to change, and it's just never going to get better. And then you get closer to God slowly. And you start realizing everything God is like internally exactly opposite of what you've been taught and what you've been brought up with. And even for people in the church, like when you start to learn God for yourself and not what church is saying or what people at church is feeding you, and not like religious legalistic mindset, and you actually start to know God, you realize like, wow, I thought I knew God, I don't. And then you start to get closer to God, and you're like, wow, everything about me is changing, but for the better. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing, but it's also such a hard thing to go through. But once you go through it and God prunes you, and the pruning, I feel like doesn't ever stop. But once you go through like the big dramatic changes, you realize everything you were looking for was on the other side of faith, was on the other side of obedience, and was on the other side of a relationship with God. So let me paint a picture to you, okay? So I am a senior in college. I am completely lost. I don't know where I'm going. I am heartbroken by a relationship that I thought was going to happen and didn't end up happening. So, I'm heartbroken. I'm hurt. I am, I'm smoking every morning to ease the pain, to get to move through life easily. So then I'm very luggish. I'm like walking around through life. I'm doing things though, like I'm accomplishing things, but I'm kind of inside feeling very downcast. I'm feeling inadequate. I'm feeling not okay. And these things can happen when you're with God too, but hear me out. So I'm just walking through life. Maybe I'm waking up late. I'm not doing anything with my days. I'm listening to whatever music and watching whatever music, and I'm looking at these people online and consuming whatever entertainment and watching whatever TV shows. And it's just like, it's kind of like a cycle that like, I'm not really in control of my life. Like, I'm not really taking any action to becoming like a better person. I'm kind of just like moving around through life, like, nonchalant, don't care. But I don't like who I am. And that's like the main part of this equation, is I don't like who I am. I despise myself. I say the worst things to myself. I don't like who I am. I see myself and I see someone who's just so deeply flawed and ugly and annoying, and I just like, I can't stand myself, right? And I one day wake up and God has like called me. I don't know how to explain it. I wake up one day and I hear, God saying like, take God seriously. Like, take God seriously. And so I started a journey, and there's way more context to who that Karen was. Early 2021, there's 21 years of her life, or 20 years of her life already that has been lived, and there's things that she's been fed and things that have been fed to her, and things that she's consumed, and narratives that she's made up. And it kind of feels like, yeah, God's got me, but also like, I hate life, I don't like it, blah, blah, all these things. There's a lot more context to who she is, but right now she's lost and she doesn't like herself. And then she starts reading the Bible, and she starts listening to sermons, and then something in her is shifting, something in her is turning, the wheels are turning, like maybe life isn't so bad after all, and maybe I have someone who cares about me, and I have someone who cares about what goes on in my life and the outcomes of my life. And I just, she starts thinking a little bit like, yeah, I went to church on a lot of Sundays when I was younger, but I kind of stopped. Maybe I should start going to church again. All these things. And the wheels are kind of turning. And then fully one day, boom, the transformation happens. And she is 100% deep all in with God, right? And now she's hearing these things from God, that she's beautiful, she's wonderfully made, she has a purpose, she's not lost. She kind of, you know, she knows who is in control of everything, because she wasn't feeling so in control of her life before, and she felt like life was just happening to her. But now she understands there's someone in control, and there's someone who is willing to give her guidance as long as she quiets the noise and starts listening to him. And so she's like, okay, how do I quiet the noise around me? Stop listening to secular music. Stop watching the weird stuff you've been watching on YouTube. Stop watching porn and, diving into sexual immorality. Stop smoking weed and smoking vapes and kind of drinking when you go out, because then you can't really hear God and you can't really feel him and you're not close to him. And so she, talking in third person still, but she kind of is like, okay, I'm willing to listen to this person who made me and is in control and has access to all the things that I feel like I lack. But for that to happen, I have to give up a lot of things that I love and I want and I like. But this transformation, yes, it was costly, but it is incredibly rewarding. And now she is here talking to you today through this transformation. And she's going to tell you everything that changed. I'll tell you what I wanted out of myself, that I was kind of like beating myself up for and like going in circles trying to get by myself. And then I'll tell you what I got by sacrificing my flesh and giving it all to God. I wanted to be a girl who was kind. I wanted to be somebody who stood out in a crowd. Like, I didn't want to be like everybody else. I wanted to be someone who spoke eloquently, who was, in her feminine, who felt beautiful, who felt loved. We're all kind of seeking to feel beautiful and loved, aren't we, all the time? So those two things. I wanted to feel cared for. I wanted to feel that I was actually gonna go somewhere in life. And I'll tell you what I got when I gave my life to God, okay? I got confidence. I got confidence not only in myself, but in the one who made me and who lives in me. And it is way more confidence than I could have ever bought or read about or, took a course on. It was a supernatural kind of confidence. I got guidance. Because God speaks to me and I see signs and I read my Bible and I hear things and I feel like he's showing me which way to go each time. I got godly friends, and that was very important because I needed friends who understood the kind of transformation I was going through and also were there to support, and we were there to like push each other. And I got exactly that. I started spending more time in church, going to more Christian events, and surrounding myself with people who got it. I got the femininity I was looking for because I started, submitting to God's ways of how he made women to be kind, gentle, loving. I also got a huge heart change. Like, things that are made me upset no longer make me upset. Things that would trigger me no longer trigger me. Things that, you know, envy, jealousy, and sometimes it likes to like sneak up on you, but with the power of God, like crucifying that every day, I have been going through a complete heart transformation, like a total 160, 180, a total 180 when it comes to things of the heart, how I respond to people, how I interact with people, what I say to people. I used to have a very potty mouth, and that was not feminine of me, and it was not cute of me, to be honest. And I instantly was able to stop swearing, even though I thought swearing was part of my vocabulary. I immediately was able to stop swearing. I started dressing more modestly, caring more about how I looked, and presenting myself in a more clean way. But it's not something that you have to buy, and it's not really like a commodity, or I don't know if I can give you a guide, but I think that once you give yourself to God, you start caring about how you look, because you realize that you are holding him inside of you. Your body is a temple for him, and so you want to present yourself, and when people see you, they see light. So you want to present yourself in light, in I don't know how else to say, in light, in clean, wholesome light. And that doesn't mean get rid of personal style and taste, because that's something that I was affected by a lot, was like thinking like I had to dress this way, I had to look a certain way to be Christian. But it truly just meant like presenting yourself nice. And if you think you look nice and you think you look confident, then there you go. It's not really some like you have to wear. I know I started wearing long jean skirts, but I promise you it's not because of anything other than the fact that I like them and I like the silhouette. Because I used to make fun of the Christian girls in my high school that only wore jean skirts, but they weren't even wearing maxi jean skirts. They were wearing like knee-high jean skirts or knee-length jean skirts. Those are not cute. I think that there's a cuter way you could do jean skirts, but that's beyond this topic. I started caring about what I invested in, like my time and energy, what I consumed online. And when you change what you're consuming, you start realizing your brain is changing, and you're thinking more, you're thinking more godly thoughts, and you are experiencing a shift in your thought patterns, and how you relate to the world, how you respond to challenges and fears and all of that stuff. And that stuff comes with reading the Bible and getting to know God's word when he and what he says about that. My daily routine changed. My friends, I think I mentioned, but also the characteristics I looked for in a friend. All of that, like literally every single thing changed, but only because I started like subjecting or submitting to what the Bible said. Tame your tongue, be slow to anger, be slow to speaking, listen, honor your father and mother, be kind, like be kinder than you can be, forgive, ask for forgiveness, pray for those who've hurt you. Like all these little things, like the more you consume that stuff, the more you start realizing that there's an internal change, and there's a really beautiful transformation happening that you can't buy anywhere else, and it only starts from the Bible. Like, really, the Bible, and like um giving your life to God and putting it in his hands. There's a deep, beautiful transformation that happens that you will spend years trying to achieve on your own, and it'll just come so naturally to you. And I'm even going to tell you about the kind of like material aspect of this transformation in itself. Because when I had yet to graduate college, I didn't know where I was going to go. I had wanted to either move to LA or New York City. I didn't know what I was going to do. Like, was I going to pursue content? Like, what's my purpose? All these things. And so I give my life to God, and I'm going through a beautiful transformation in my overall self. And then things are happening on the outside too that could have only been brought about by God. And so I give my life to God. I stop listening to secular music as one of the transformations, and I start listening to Christian music, and I start listening to, cute lo-fi R&B Christian music, because I'm trying to feed the flesh and feed the flesh what it knows, but with God now. So I'm listening to Christian artists that kind of sound like the artist that I used to like, and I stumble upon a Christian artist that I really like, and I start listening to him a lot, and then it's like a chain of events. Okay, it's like a domino. One piece falls and the next keeps falling. Give your life to God. Gets rid of secular music. Starts listening to Christian music that sound like secular but are Christian. Discover a Christian artist that is particularly doing this genre very well. Love him. You see a flyer for an art show / concert. You're like, okay, I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna go because I want to see this artist in real life, and I want to hear him perform in real life. And then you go to New York City on a whim. First time you've ever gone to New York City by yourself. And first time you've even gone to New York City in like years. And so go to New York City for this show. You meet a man there. And because you're undergoing a transformation, you're also looking at, you're looking at men a little bit differently. You're no longer heartbroken over the worldly men. You start looking for men who are kind of undergoing a similar transformation. And so you go to this Christian show and expectant to meet, other like-minded people. And you do. You end up meeting a man, who is, on a similar path and a similar journey. Talking a little bit more, you start dating. Wow, now you're moving to New York City, and now you know someone who lives in New York City, and now you feel like you kind of can see your future again. You can see the light again, in a way. Like, you can see you're not so lost anymore. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, you're not so lost anymore. You meet a man, dating, move to New York City, and you get engaged, you get married. Now you're in New York City full time. You're doing content full time. You're spreading God's name, all these things. And you are pursuing, other stuff. You're pursuing anything that your heart wants, and things that God lays in your heart. And you find a church home, and you're content, and you're happy, and you're content, and you are truly content. And the one thing that started this whole domino effect was giving your life to God. I would have never even discovered the Christian artist or went to the show to meet my now husband if I didn't give my life to God first. Like, what? So yeah, that was kind of like a little domino effect thing that I can trace back to just one decision that I made. And I know that it's not as easy as what I'm saying. There's so many obstacles within then and now. I'm not trying to say, and this is what I don't want to relay this message that you are going to give your life to God and then everything you want will happen or everything you want will come about. I never really was the one that was like looking for marriage, or I mean, I wanted to get married, but I wasn't looking for like a kingdom spouse, as they say. I wasn't really keen on that. I really just wanted to be someone who was a go-getter, someone who was respected, was confident, beautiful, loved herself, loved God. Like, I was just looking to be the type of woman that I am today. And only God knows how he's going to get you to where you want to be or to where he wants you to be. And because sometimes our will or desires is not exactly what he wants. And so I went through all these domino changes to be here, but your story might look a little different, and you might give your life to God and he will take you somewhere completely different, and that's good. But you're going to look and you're going to realize, like, oh, this was the woman I wanted to be all along. This was who I wanted to be all along. Life is panning out, the way that it should be and the way that God wants it to be. And in the moment of things, you're not going to see why it's happening this way and for what reason and why. But it's going to work out beautifully, and it's going to be the ultimate glow up for you. Like, your friends are going to change, your mindset is going to change, your tone, your heart, your soul, your spirit, like everything is going to change, but it's going to change in just the way that you want it to be, and you're going to love it. And all you have to do is sacrifice everything. All he wants is everything. Come on. That's not so hard. So yeah, I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about that. That's what's been on my mind recently, because I've been seeing so many comments of people like just saying, like, wow, you have grown so much. And I have grown so much in just a span of 3 years, and it really started with one decision, and I don't think I could have done this on my own. And it is all by the grace of God, and all by on God's spirit, and also all by like yielding to his spirit and answering when he calls, and being obedient to his voice, and understanding his timing, and being patient with things, and going through things knowing that there's a God that's taking you through them. So that is all for now. All you have to do is just give your life to God and sacrifice your flesh. It's not as easy as it sounds. You're like, that does not even sound easy. What are you talking about? Yeah, it doesn't sound easy. And it's not that easy, but it is really simple. and you just have to ask God for, or ask the Holy Spirit for help. And that is the number one thing, and honestly the only thing I can attribute to my glow up, if I do say so myself, my significant transformation and my journey to loving myself and being a better version of myself is just this one decision that I made. And I know a lot of you are listening to this podcast because you've made that same decision, and so you're like, I already know this. You don't have to tell me twice. But hang in there. Let God work through you. If you haven't made that decision, please make that decision. Give your life to Jesus, and you can say, how do I do that? It's really a simple thing. You just say, God, thank you so much. Please live inside of me. Oh, no. No. Like, Jesus, thank you so much for dying on the cross for my sins. I take you as my personal Lord and Savior. Please come live in my heart. I give everything to you. I want to be yours. I want you to live through me. And I declare you as my savior. And then you pray and ask for forgiveness of anything. Start going to church, find a home church, start reading the Bible, incorporating it into your morning routine. And by the time you know it, you will be standing and you will say, wow, I've come so far, and it was only by the grace of God. And so, yeah, that is the end of the episode. I'm going to wrap up. Thank you so much if you listened. I hope you took something away from this, and I hope that you have a great rest of your week. January is already coming to a close, which is so weird. But yeah, have a great rest of your week, and I'm wishing you the best glow up of 2024. Love you. Bye-bye.